Greetings, sending you all some warm, positive vibration, and shout out to all of my early risers. So, I just water rinse my hair simply because it makes me feel better. And so, a subscriber asked a question: how often do I water rinse my hair? And I'm going to answer that. So, if you're interested in this little communication, please feel free, if you like, to stay tuned. So, if you're new here, welcome. I'm Body-Culinary, professional chef, personal trainer, nutrition coach, lifestyle coach, and I'm also a natural born woman. Shout out to you, whatever your expression is. Also, a mother. Those are some of the ways I function out here on this planet. And on this channel, I share some of my journey of radical self acceptance, as well as encouragement to three simple lifestyle practices that we have access to, that we can give ourselves access to: garden therapy, peaceful consumption, and cultivating and reactivating a personal movement practice. These are leveraged lifestyle activities that are deeply therapeutic, give us a tremendous release, help us feel athletic and empowered, and most of all, has the opportunity to get us into integrity with ourselves in a really, really powerful way. So that's what I share on this channel. If you're interested in that kind of content, feel free, if you like, if you find value here, to subscribe, perhaps share with someone who could use some value and some support. I'm unapologetic about creating support for myself. It is also perhaps a good idea to leverage the time that you're on the internet to perhaps replay any of these videos, relaxation videos, the puppet series on this channel, to replay them while you're stretching on your stretch mat, while you're cutting up vegetables, beautiful food for your peaceful consumption, and as well as your decluttering, which are great practices, right? These are things that can bring us a lot of relaxation and joy in being present in your body, release of what we don't need, and actually generating an energy of joy, which is in contrast to constantly just being in our mind, following endless narratives and looping stories in our mind. So I invite you to do that. Also, if you're interested in reaching out to me, you can contact me at info@body-culinary.com or bodyculinary@gmail.com. You can inquire about a application for Flower Fit coaching and community, and you can see if that is a good fit for you. That's all ongoing lifestyle coaching, and we will definitely touch on those lifestyle practices. So that being said, my hair is still dripping. It's very fine hair. It's not a lot of hair, and it's the hair that I have been divinely assigned. This is what I've got. And so, a subscriber asked, how often do I wash it? So I've been rinsing it recently with water, right? And I just got through singing, having my relaxation session, running under warm to hot water, and I'm doing it because it's relaxing. So this is not so much just cleansing. It's cleansing not because my hair is dirty. It's cleansing in terms of release. It's another way of administering self therapy, something I can do to make myself feel better. So I didn't add any shampoo. I'm just simply massaging my head and my temples, these very delicate areas. I'm just massaging and self soothing, right? As I'm singing to myself, I'm intentionally shifting my paradigm as I'm in the shower, in that shower meditation or that shower relaxation session, if you will, right? So it's wet, it's going to dry quickly because there's nothing in it, you know. And I was thinking as I was singing about quieting down and how intentional lifestyle practices can give us access to a calming down and a slowing down of the literal programming and instructions and fright and fear that are coming at us into our orifices from all different directions. So some people may think it's too much water rinsing. And I don't have a problem cutting my hair off. I don't think it's too much because at the root of everything is how I'm feeling. How I'm feeling and my emotions will drive a lot of behavior. So the more that we can do for ourselves to bring us into present, into our bodies, right? When I say present into our bodies or into my body, that's in contrast to just be kind of awake, but your eyes are open, but you're watching the movie screen of your mind that has endless judgments of self and others, and actually a lot of worry, 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 worry. Right? So I like to use the breath. I like to use movement. I definitely like to use the shower and different activities that I have to do every day, and use those as times to enact quote unquote habits, rituals, ways to intentionally reprogram myself to make myself feel a certain kind of way. And each time I do that, that's like a coat of paint, right? That can become habitual. And that is just using the natural rhythms of your day to use them as a time to conveniently give yourself a boost of focus and to cultivate an awareness. If you have this habit of breathing, awareness, noticing your thoughts, that can actually become habitual and it can help you feel grounded when so much around us can feel uh, destabilizing, if you will. So my hair is drying as I sit here. But I'm saying this is not just about the hair, it's about how I feel. I'm constantly checking in to see how I'm feeling about life, how noticing any of my habits, if they're mindless, what is driving my behaviors. And that can be kind of slippery. That can actually be kind of tricky, right? Understanding our psyche because we're off and running at the races in our mind. And so we're not present. And it's actually it's been called sleepwalking, or just, I would say, rather than putting labels on ourselves, it's just not being intentional. And a lot of our time on this planet, on this plane, can be spent in that space. And I don't find that it's leveraged. It can actually be very paralyzing. So, in contrast, when I think about, I was singing yesterday, and yes, I was thinking as I was watching it back, I was like, I could be very embarrassed. But I take that risk at being embarrassed because taking the focus off of, oh my gosh, what are people going to say? My voice is out of tune, or, I'm not trying to get a record deal. I'm being intentional about making myself feel away, and it feels good, and it's an energy. I don't know if folks are aware, or if you can recognize uh, folks who have a feel good energy, we might say positive energy. Uh, but if they're people, I know for me that I like to be around, because it's not just them feeling good, people that are just very vibrant, full of life, proactive. That's, for me, that's a very, very attractive energy. And so we have choices, right? We have a menu of choices of what we can choose to tune in. So I'm trusting that whoever comes across this video, or my chant, my intentional chant, um, that they'll feel that energy and not be so focused on my voice not sounding like a singer. Because again, the intention is not impressing people with my singing ability. The intention is casting spells, being aware of how what you're repeating is making you feel. So I'm so about lifestyle practices that we have access to. Because in contrast, for example, I observe, without making right or wrong, we can have all kinds of judgments, right? Internal dialogue around, oh my gosh, my hair, it doesn't look like this. This is what it is. So those judgments make us feel a certain kind of way. So I like to take a moment to pause, or just be aware of how that feels without running away from it, right? And just a noticing of how it feels, how judgment feels. Not just judgment from other people, but how an internal dialogue, which we have an internal dialogue about myself, how it feels. It can be internal judgment, and it just gets on like an avalanche, like a, what do you call it, like a snowball that's rolling downhill, gaining momentum. If we follow that trajectory of our own mental patterns, we could start finding, or that our ego somehow is hardwired, we'll start finding criticism about our features, and just go down the whole line about failure. It's like it becomes a pattern and a rhythm. In contrast, right? And notice how that makes you feel. In contrast, when I was singing in the shower, I was thinking about the words and the thoughts and emotions, and I actually consciously slowed down the lyrics, right? To calm myself. So this is what I'm saying. There's things that we have access to that are practices that are deeply therapeutic. And I know a lot of times we want to do it with people. However, most of the time, it's a lot of time when you're by yourself. And sometimes you're with people, but you're by yourself in your mind. So in this mental activity. So to bring some awareness to it and to be very intentional in your own mental programming, reprogramming, rewriting your narrative has tremendous leverage. I would even say it's kind of like giving yourself a dose of a vaccine, right? If you cultivate this, this is one of numerous simple practices. If you cultivate this, over time, it can help you feel grounded, as kind of, if you think of like stuff flying overhead, all kinds of chaos. It can help you feel grounded as you realize that you're with yourself in your own mental activity, and you can make yourself feel better and become more of what we hear in esoteric schools and lingo, of being a witness to what's going on, a witness of what's going on with people outside of you and us popping off, rejecting and projecting on each other, and a witness to what's happening in your own mind. So even the feeling of embarrassment, right? Internal dialogue, oh my God, what does my voice sound like? But it's not important. It's not important. And so feelings of embarrassment can, within your own mind, can stop you from getting into your movement practice. It can sabotage you. It has like a paralyzing effect, or a stagnancy, like don't move because it's not perfect. Don't move because people are going to say something. So you don't get into action. So as I've shared on this channel, as a coach, as someone that really is fascinated by personal development, I'm also equally fascinated by what drives our mindless behaviors and self sabotage, right? Because this is part of the human condition, right? And so I'm not interested in being limited by it. I'm also very aware that I want to be effective. So that means I got to study and I got to learn, what are the blind spots? What am I not seeing? What am I not understanding? So, in answer to that subscriber's question, because somebody commented, could you please get straight to the answer about how you clear the buildup in your locks and seborrheic dermatitis? So that's actually some good feedback. It's not a new feedback in terms of communicating, getting to the point. However, I'm not in a rush. I'm not being paid for this. This actually cost me time to be on here. And it's not just about me giving information, I'm giving my own insight and my own perspective. So we can be very, very impatient, and I'm fine with sharing them. And I value feedback. At the same time, I notice how when you're taking on feedback from strangers on the internet, and they have something they're trying to get, all of these things make us feel a certain kind of way. So I'm sensitive to the tone. And tone, we can misconstrue tone when we're typing on these screens. We can't see somebody's facial expressions. They may have another culture, another language that we could be taking personally when it's really not. So I am aware of that. I do prioritize communicating greetings. Need a beautiful rising auntie, according to the title. What's she saying? According to the time, love to water rinse my locks. Just joining. Well, happy new day to you too, Mamacita. So I was just talking about singing in the shower this morning. What I call my relaxation session, and I invite you to make use of the natural patterns. Right, when you got to go to the bathroom, use everything to your advantage. I invite you to see where you can make every activity a leverage activity. This could even be going to the bathroom to release waste, right? I remember one of my mentors in her space when I would go into her restroom. She had squatting stools around the toilet to help you elevate your legs to throw your body more into alignment, so you could eliminate more efficiently. And she had a prayer on the wall. She had a prayer on the wall. I think she had some popular artwork of a black woman that was looking tired, right? An Afro woman looking tired, and it was a prayer of release over the toilet. And so there's certain things I have never forgotten. So when you go to eliminate, or just like when you go to bathe, those are excellent opportunities to literally, right, not to be spookadoo, to program yourself, right, to reset your narrative. This is such a leveraged activity, rewriting your narrative. So this morning in the shower, I shared that song yesterday. It's called "Look Inside," and you can find it on YouTube. I love house music. Anything that gets me to dancing is the perfect music to work out to. Sometimes with lyrics and sometimes without, and I'm big on quality lyrics. So the song is "Look Inside," and it's by Glenn it's by Glenn Underground. So feel free to check it out. I did a little, when I'm in the spirit, right? I'll just move and I'll express. And again, listening to that internal dialogue, I can listen to the inner critic being so critical. If I listen to it all the time, this is why I love the early day and the quiet. That inner critic will talk you out of your inspirational creative moments to put a product out there, to dance, to get moving. So I'm like, this is a pattern. This is something that lives within me. It's a part of me. It's likely you've heard talk and sharings of the dark side, the shadow side. There's lots that we run away from instead of just accepting, kind of like being friends with it, being that it's going to be a part of you. So I find that gives us access to not constantly being driven to knee jerk reactions because it's coming from somewhere. The mindless eating, the putting ourselves in harm's way, whether we're male or female, projecting onto other people, it's coming somewhere. So if we can't see the blind spot, right, it's unlikely we'll be able to be effective at making change and consistent, sustainable change. So, what are some approachable ways? What are some accessible ways? And just practical ways that we can work with ourselves, right? So you don't feel like, again, internal dialogue. I'm not the professional. I'm not the psychotherapist. So, we almost start to feel like, well, I'm not God, quote unquote, that we don't feel empowered to enact a new narrative, which is that's kind of like, that's kind of crazy, I think. But anyway, the song that I was singing in the shower, it just became a whole thing. If you try it out, do share in the comments. I was massaging my temples and I was just feeling like my hair beat up, and it just feels so nice, right? These areas that we're constantly trying to slick, right? And my hair is very fine. It can look straw-like when it's really dry. Actually, it's kind of normalized now, but I was just massaging it. The whole internal ritual, how it's making me feel. I'm noticing my internal dialogue shifting as I'm just self-soothing, massaging, touching my scalp, massaging my scalp, thoroughly feeling the water run down my scalp as I'm singing to myself. And then the actual lyrics that I am chanting and singing to myself had me feeling a kind of way, right? I find intentional lyrics quite different than singing, and this is just one woman's perspective, and praying to something, or praying to something that is outside of me. So I've shared before, my godmother, a gem she gave me years ago was, um, instead of tossing away gospel music, sing to the God within yourself. So I took that and ran with it. And most love songs, in my mind, the context is everything. Quite often, I'm singing to myself, and I find it puts me in a state, right? A state of being, which is being present. Big tool to give yourself access to being in the present and generating uh, a feel good mood, right? This is a time where it's common for many of us humans to feel low vibe, to feel a lot of depression. So, any way you can give yourself access to feeling good in a way that's real, where you're not faking it. For example, saying affirmations that you don't really believe, then those affirmations can have a reverse effect. So as I'm singing these words to myself, I started to slow down my breathing, and I found, wow, I could keep expanding on this one meditation. So I'm really like this with songs. So let's see if I can remember the song. It's a short song. It's called "Look Inside." So let's see if I can find it. I'm gonna keep it low so we don't shut it down here on Miss TikTok. But I started singing it slower and slower. So I'm not trying to get a record deal. I thank the Most High for waking me up to see another day. She has given me a mind of positivity, sending me on my way. That wasn't how it was. Let me tell you, I let negativity show its face and give me the blues. Now, all I do is think about the love that's within me. Let's see. Now, all I do is think about all the love that's in me. Oh, no more mental hesitation or self degradation. That's what I don't need. And then it's look inside yourself. Look inside yourself. You've got to look inside yourself. You've got to look inside yourself. Look inside yourself. You've got to look inside yourself. And then it says, people, troubles, they come and they go. That's life. We all go through it. You've got to face it toe to toe. I'm living proof of a woman caught up in confusion in my own world of make-believe and delusion. You've got to think about what you do before you do it. Decide on one thing and stay with it. Stay focused on your goals, because that's the only way. Then it's look inside yourself. You've got to look inside yourself. Look inside yourself. And so you can really slow down. And here's somebody that I need to block that is on another vibration that I'm not on. So you can really take lyrics, wherever they are, how they make you feel, and if the words feel good and useful to you, not just making you feel good. And I'm making a distinction between singing to something outside yourself and using the lyrics to work with yourself in a way that's very therapeutic to yourself. You're giving yourself access, just like when you're exercising, you're giving yourself a shot of internal feel-good dopamine and good hormones, chemicals. In this case, with being very intentional with the lyrics that are kind of written and prescribed almost for you, not almost, just for you and for your particular situation where you're at. It's another way of deeply self-administered therapy. I'm all about the self-administered therapy. And although I love to share, I think it's really something to acknowledge the divine onboard intelligence that each and every one of us was born with. That it doesn't, I can give you something that's helpful. I strongly believe it doesn't need, there's something direct that we're born with that doesn't require a middleman or a middle woman. Now, while we may be inexperienced, right? And we go to teachers and pastors and guides, the goal is not for you to be dependent on anybody for that direct experience. For a direct experience that's going to give you confidence. If you have an onboard intelligence, right? It's clear enough, and when you tap into it and you get quiet and you listen, it's clear enough to guide you to keep yourself out of harm's way. It's clear enough to assist you in making quality decisions for your life and the trajectory of your life. It's clear enough, that part of our intelligence, and there are different parts of our intelligence, it's clear enough. It's clear enough when it comes to finance, even if you're not quote unquote rich. It's clear enough to guide each and every decision about what you will let into any of your orifices, who you engage with, vetting people. It's clear enough. So this would say that we're not in the habit that is intellectually, as much as we would think it was, we're not really encouraged to be confident in listening to our own divine, onboard, innate intelligence. And just like with somebody asking me about washing my hair, how often I do it, I can share with you how often I wash my hair. I only have 33 locks, I only have 33 locks. You may have 50. Your hair may be big and Congo Nati. You may have a whole lot of leftover oil in your hair. So I'm sharing my experience, but ultimately, you will have to do the experimentation. That's where you're going to cultivate an unshakable confidence, right? Where you're taking the chance it's like I'll take my chances with my juicer. You're taking the chance to explore what is the sweet spot, what is just enough washing for you. So if my hair was all break off right now, which I don't think it will, from me just rinsing it all the time, so be it. I'm doing it because my purpose is it's relaxing and it's therapeutic. Somebody could feel that's right or wrong. That's not important. I'm creating the narrative and writing the prescription for what I need, period. And I think that's really, really important for us to have that sovereignty. It comes with a responsibility. All right. I said before, if you were to get a diagnosis tomorrow, is there anything that you would be doing different in your eating pattern and your resting pattern and who you're spending your time relating to and what you're watching? It's Would you be doing anything different? And so to not just give the right answer, to really sit with that can bring us present to just how much during the day and throughout our life we're living in cognitive dissonance. We're doing things that we don't feel is ideal for us, right? In our eating, our consumption. And a lot of it's coming from worry, coming from fear, from past trauma. It almost feels as if, I've experienced where I don't want to approach it as positive as I am, as much as I know. I can notice when I don't want to approach that. And so, what I found is another tool is having a healthy curiosity. The inner critic is always there. So, I found a way to work with the inner critic is to have a curiosity about the why, right? What's going on in my own head. So, hopefully, you can find this valuable. Check out the song Look Inside by Glenn Underground. And let me know if you decide to try out water rinsing. And so, what I'm adding to the water rinsing, right, um, is being in the shower, which is a practice of mine, and relaxing and singing a song of choice that is quality lyrics, that is deeply therapeutic. Well, I'm questioning. It's like talking to your own self and really listening for the answers. So it's a way of working with this human mind, right? This monkey mind that jumps all over the place, that is already conditioned. We're conditioned. We're copycats. We move from trauma. So that being said, this is what we've got to work with. This is the hair that I have to work with. How can I work with my own self and my own mind and to generate specific feelings so that I'm working with guiding myself along my trajectory, if this makes sense. So I'm inviting you all to create a great day on purpose on this little side of town. On this side of town, natural bodies matter, right? We deserve to feel totally comfortable in in the skin and the hair that we're divinely assigned. We deserve to feel comfortable in our own divinely assigned hair and skin. So to that end, this practice of radical self-acceptance, right? You can find whatever that exercise looks like for you. So I practice sitting in what it is that I have without wishing that I had something else or that I was somebody else, and really embracing it. On my flat locks, all 33 of them, they might combine. I'm going along for the ride. Feel free to check out those resources. Uh, Whole living foods in the hood with menus to fit your budget. If perhaps you're someone that's dealing with acne and hyperpigmentation, there is Natural Beauty, no products. So, Natural Beauty, no products. I mean, I put food on my face. I'll be honest with you. I primarily put whole living foods on the inside, and that's also what I'm putting on my skin. Simply, that works for it works for me. And it's not just about the products, it's also the mental space that I'm giving myself. Like, some people are into minimalism. I love what the young lady who I really like, Dr. Toomey Johnson, she calls it, I think she called it chosen simplicity. And that feels like the right fit more so than minimalism. It's chosen simplicity. So I'm choosing, right? I can appreciate makeup and I appreciate nice things. I'm just being very picky about what it is that I'm allowing in and that I'm choosing to let into my psyche, into my refrigerator, into my mouth, into my body. I'm being as intentional as I can be and being compassionate and holding space for myself. Or I see the programming and the habits, right? And, I'm a human being out here. So I'm inviting you all to create a great day on purpose, to make some time to, if you're in an apartment and somewhere, to engage with your plants. Again, this is garden therapy, to nurture some plants because I find they kick off and activate a certain type of calm and intelligence. Take some time to feed yourself the most beautiful, water rich, nutrient dense, vitality filled, high octane fuel that is peaceful to your lungs, your colon, your skin, to your mood, to your brain. The most peaceful fuel that is available to you. And hopefully, you will decide to make your movement practice the best part of your day, literally, to really get you amped up, and a little singing shower meditation. So, y'all create a great day on purpose, and I will see you soon. Feel free to comment respectfully, like, and subscribe. Oh, also, I'm on TikTok as Kwasa with a K, Peaceful Eating. All right, see you soon.